Bond is set at $1 million for a man accused of hitting 5 police officers conducting an investigation on I-70 in Maryland Heights overnight. Matthew Jones is facing several felony DWI charges. A toddler inside his car was also hurt. Ryan Henson joins us in studio with the latest on this case and the conditions of those involved in that crash. Ryan.
And Mike, as more about the man behind the wheel comes into the newsroom, I'm tracking the status of the 6 hospitalized and that injured canine. Now, thankfully, 2 officers are out of the hospital, but 3 are still recovering, and there's no update right now on that toddler that was in the car with the man we just saw. This started as a chase out of St. Charles County, ended as a crash, disrupting traffic at I-70 and 270.
A group of St. Charles County law enforcement officers and a toddler were injured in a crash caused by a driver who failed to move over. Lake St. Louis police officers were working for the St. Charles County Auto Task Force when a chase began in St. Charles County. The suspect crashed at eastbound I-70 and 270.
It was disabled and blocking the road. They then had to block the roads themselves to keep people from hitting that car until a tow could come get it out of the way.
6 officers in total were investigating the initial crash with their emergency lights on. Around 1:45 a.m., a driver who didn't move over crashed into the back of one vehicle, causing it to hit the other patrol cars and 2 officers standing outside of their vehicles. One of the officers was ejected from the driver's seat.
But struck the rear of one of the Lake St. Louis PD cars. This caused the Lake St. Louis PD car to start rotating, and it struck the other Lake St. Louis PD car that was in the area.
31-year-old Matthew Jones is charged with multiple counts of DWI, endangering a child, and failure to yield charges. The 2-year-old was a passenger in his vehicle.
Yeah, a lot of sirens. Everybody had their lights on. Yeah, it was, I mean, you could not notice it.
Christian Schaefer saw the scene. He says there was up to 50 law enforcement vehicles around in the aftermath of the crash.
And that kind of stuff, you want to keep it on a racetrack. You know, these guys carrying these high rates of speed. You know, there's a place that you want to do that, and the public roads definitely are not that.
The 6th officer on the scene wasn't injured. Law enforcement says this is a reminder to exercise caution and responsibility behind the wheel. Ann?
Thank you, Ryan.